What up, folks? On the check-in, wanted to bring something to the attention of the community of traders. We talk about patterns, the rocket science. We talk about Japanese candlestick patterns. They tell you a story. The problem with it is there's too many of them. If people get into that candlestick Bible and they just go all the way into the rabbit hole, when really there's only a few patterns that you really need. So far through my channel, I've only done one pattern, and that's a momentum pattern. That's the 3 white soldiers and 3 black crows, right? A momentum pattern, which is always relevant to what's going on today because the market will capitulate. It's not a crash, right? Let's get it straight. 10% drops are not crashes. You want to see a 40%, 50%, 75 to 80% crashes. We'll say Bitcoin, but we're not talking about crypto this weekend. I want to talk about the stock market. Very important because of this pattern. It's called a HARAMi. You know me, I like to do things as the basics. There's too much rocket science, which gets a lot of folks confused. I don't want you to be confused. I just want you to use the basics. If you can understand the basics, then everything else will fall in place for you when it comes to trading and investing. What you do in your life is what you'll do in your trading. What you do in your trading is what you'll do in your life. If you're confused in your life, you'll be confused in your trading. You have to learn the numbers, but we're not even going to talk about the numbers right now. We could, but I'm going to stay on point with the pattern. And this should go fairly smoothly and fairly quickly. It is a HARAMi pattern. Now, whether it's bearish or bullish, because every time I type it into Google, they give you these examples that look like they're saying bearish and bullish. I don't want to focus on bearish and bullish, but I will say bearish, right? A bear sits low and he pushes you. Well, yeah, they attack down low. They swipe at you down low and all that. That's what bears do. They're bearish. They make you go down. Bullish, a bull will go down with the horns and then raise you up in the air. That's bullish, right? Since we're talking about the basics, most people don't even know that. Hawkish, a hawk is going down, and a dove goes up and off into the sky, right? So you need to know those terms, the basics. But anyway, a HARAMi is a full candle that's consuming another candle. And when I say consuming, I mean the whole thing, right? It's hard to miss a candle like this because you don't see it everywhere. So it's become one of my favorite patterns. Of course, the higher the time frame, the stronger the signal. I like to start out on the daily. I like to see daily momentum and things like that. I like to see daily reversals and things like that. It helps you in trading and investing by using the basics. So I want to introduce you to the stock market. If you didn't know, it consists of the Russell 2000, the S&P 500, the NASDAQ 100, and the Dow Jones, the US 30. The Russell 2000 is 2,000 small cap companies. The S&P 500 is 500 mid cap companies, if you want to call it. The breadth of the market, that's what I call the S&P 500. If you want to know about the stock market, momentum and things like that, you want to look at the price of the S&P. Some people look at the NASDAQ. You can't do that because NASDAQ is tech and it's only 100 companies. NASDAQ 100. And the US 30 is 30 companies. Safety, they call them the safety plays, which is the US 30, right? The Dow Jones. You have to know these names and know the numbers that go with the name and why the number is what it is. So, but I'm bringing that up because you're getting a HARAMi on all of them, I think, except for the NASDAQ. It's close to being one. It's a bullish candle that's totally consuming the candle before it. So it looks like it's bullish because of how strong of a push it was to the upside. Some of these candles are almost consuming 2 full candles. Now, when I say consuming, I mean the wick and the body is totally consumed. I don't want to get this confused for anyone. I want you to be very clear that when the whole candle is consumed, so you don't make no mistakes. Oh, look at that. You don't see it everywhere, which is very important because people are undisciplined. I'm not saying kind of like, I'm not saying off by an inch or a hair. I mean totally, fully consumed. You're not going to see it everywhere. So when you do see it, it's good to talk about it, right? Because when you talk about it, you re-enhance what you already know. Being the example of doing things correctly, right? I don't know what's going to happen after these candles. I'm just saying you need to know it when you see it, right? Now, we went through this crazy dip last week, right? I had hundreds of alerts going off, all sectors, right? And when it was all said and done, we ended up with a bullish HARAMi, which looks to be bullish. It's at the top of the structure, so I don't like to call it bullish. I just like to say, okay, we got a HARAMi. I don't want to call it bullish or bearish, right? It looks bullish, right? But if we're going to be going down, where are we going to be going down from? We're going to be going down from the top of the structure. We're at the top of the structure. We're at all-time highs in the stock market, right? You have the crypto market, you have the stock market, you have the metals market, you have all kinds of different markets. They're not the same. In the long run, they'll all usually do the same thing. But in the short term, they zigzag. They have what we call ebbs and flows, right? So I have to be doing my job on a constant basis and bring up concepts as they show themselves. You see, we can be relevant no matter what goes on. We can always bring something saucy to the table to get people in the more of an understanding mind, state of mind, understanding. Knowledge is power. The truth will set you free. All that good stuff, right? And I don't charge you $10,000 to tell you things that are public knowledge. You can type all this stuff into Google, right? You just have to know what you're looking for. You need someone to help you go in the direction of what you need to be looking for and practice preaching it, right? You do it. You see it. You say that you see it. You do what you say that you see. And then you get to the bag, right? We do it for the people and not the prophets. There's too much fraudulence out here, teaching baby pips. I haven't dropped no names. I'd love to drop some names, but you can just look through Google and you'll see who teaches baby pips. 98% of people on social media teach baby pips, but we're not with that. We're with the community of traders. We want to get, if it's one trader at a time, get them to the business. It feels good to be able to know that you know the truth and you're able to implement. This has to do with every single human being on earth. The market, because it moves off the back of the people. You want to take advantage of that. You don't want to live your life of just letting them take advantage of you. They who? Government, church, state, county, and city. They will take advantage of you until you get into the casket. It's up to you to make the decision to do something different with your life. Your family is dependent on you to do that. My family is dependent on me to get it right, right? So I have to promote it as I see it and kick it out, right? So shout out to the community of traders. Shout out to my team. We're getting to the business. We're not going to loss review. You know the sayings, right? So we'll have the gauntlet later. It looks how it looks. All you got to do is get on the wave and stay on the wave. Keep your finger on the pulse of the market. It has everything to do with you. Hey.